Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Thursday, January 28th, and we're going to check in with Teen Mom OG cast members. I know a couple days ago I said that we would be scaling back the content on Teen Mom and Teen Mom OG, but there's a couple updates I wanted to talk about. The new season just rolled out, and a couple cast members are in the news and we need to talk about it. And it involves Ryan Edwards and his baby mama and his wife, Mackenzie Edwards. And then it also goes over to who? Amber and Gary over in Indiana. Before we get into all of it, can you do me a favor and give this video a thumbs up? Also subscribe down here if you have not yet subscribed, and turn notifications on so you know when I go live or new content loads. We are in season 9 of Teen Mom OG. I can't believe it's been on the air this long. It has been more than a decade. A lot of the storylines are getting stale, and Mackenzie and Ryan's one back and forth and dysfunctional relationship, with Ryan having spent a lot of time back and forth in rehab and having various times spent behind bars. He has had a less than active role in his son's life, Bentley, and in the entirety of Bentley's life, he's never entered into a formal custody agreement with Macy. So legally, Macy has all of the cards in her hand, and Ryan basically does nothing because, I don't know, he's Ryan. Ryan has a lot of opinions, but Ryan also doesn't spend a lot of time trying to do the right thing by actually getting custody or having parental rights to his son. So I guess he shouldn't really have an opinion, in my opinion. Now, he also has a wife with 2 kids that they've had together, and seemingly over the last year, he has gotten some of his life together, and he has a son, Jagger, and Stella, with wife Mackenzie. Mackenzie came into this marriage with a son that she had from a previous marriage named Hudson. Now, it's Mackenzie that's in a bit of hot water right now because her ex-husband is demanding that the court change the custody agreement, and her ex-husband has some pretty damning things to say in his court filing when he requested additional custody. In fact, he called co-parenting with Mackenzie impossible and claims that their son Hudson actually spends more time with his grandmother than he does with Mackenzie. So what the heck is going on here? Oh yeah, and then there's a part where Zach, her ex-husband, wants Hudson off TV. So the son was able to get the custody papers or the filing in Tennessee, which basically claims that, and in the filing, Zach wants custody increased and he wants child support from Mackenzie. Now, this could be an interesting thing because Mackenzie actually went to court in the fall and asked that he be held in civil contempt for not paying his child support, and she claimed that he was past due about $3,200 or so. So just know that before we get into the rest of this. So he says that in the filings, he wants to modify the child support obligation because he claims that he actually has more parental custody and more parental time with their son than Mackenzie does. And his basis is that he says that when Mackenzie has Hudson, Hudson actually spends more time with her mom than he does with Mackenzie. So in addition to wanting the custody to be changed and his child support to be reduced because he's behind on child support, I think, he says that the decisions that are made in their relationship are not made very, he says that Mackenzie's making all of the decisions and she's supposed to run things by him, but she's not. And because she's making the bulk of the decisions for their son, and the fact that they have very limited communication, he claims that co-parenting with Mackenzie is difficult, if not impossible. And he wants the court to order that they have communication either in writing or in text so that they can have some sort of meaningful dialogue regarding their son, and so they can come to decisions together. So everything's impossible in terms of how they communicate with this custody agreement, right? And now he also says that he wants to pay less child support, and then he also says that he wants to have more say in the decision-making process. And why is he making this claim? Well, he says that everything has changed since their initial agreement back in November of 2016. And he says that there has been a substantial change that affects their son Hudson's life, which included her remarrying Ryan and having 2 other children. And he says that he's the one that spends most of the time with Hudson, not her, because apparently Mackenzie's giving Hudson to her mom all the time, according to him. It says, he wrote this, upon information and belief during the mother's designated parenting time, the child spends the majority of the parenting time with the child's maternal grandparents. Another thing that he takes issue with is that she is on a reality television show and he doesn't know whether or not he wants his child on TV. So he says that she has a prominent role on Teen Mom and that Hudson is regularly featured on the show. And he says that the father believes that the minor child's involvement with the television program may be detrimental to the welfare and well-being of the minor child. So he wants the court to change the order so that they split custody 50-50. And he wants the custody to be 1 week on with him, 1 week with Mackenzie, 1 week with him, one thing with Mackenzie, and then taking turns for holidays with each of them getting, like, the mom getting Mother's Day and him getting Father's Day. I should note that he was ordered in 2017 to pay $245 a month of child support. And in July of 2020, she actually filed documents in court and claimed that he owed her more than $31.85 in back child support, and she wanted him to be held in contempt and pay up. So he was served in August of 2020. They were supposed to be in court in December. Zach tells the Sun that she withdrew everything, and so I don't know the status of that. But Mackenzie has been pretty clear on her social media that she's been having troubles with Zach in regards to their custody agreement. On Instagram, she shared a post that said, gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation and emotional abuse. The gaslight avoids responsibility for toxic behavior by lying and denying and making you question facts, your memory, and your feelings. And then it said, basically, the gaslighter makes you feel crazy and confused. Know this now, you're not crazy. You're being manipulated, and this is toxic and not acceptable. And then she also shared another quote that said, if your co-parenting relationship looks like this, you are too being gaslit. You're welcome. And a lot of people at the time thought she was talking about Macy and Ryan, but she says she claimed that she was talking about Zach. So take Zach says for what it's worth, he was back on child support. This could be motivated by the fact that he doesn't want to pay child support, but he could have valid concerns about his son being on reality television. There's reason to believe that children on reality television do suffer a lack of privacy and also have their entire lives airing out into the public. And there's, enough reason to believe that that lack of privacy can expose them to online trolling, online bullying, and in the fact that they have no control of their own digital footprint as well as their own lives. So a lot of, kids that have grown up on reality television have basically talked about their struggles, including like Jacob Roloff, who's been critical of it, or Jill Duggar. So there are kids out there that have been on reality television that say it's not good for them. For all intents and purposes, it seems like Mackenzie's a good mother, so I don't know how much truth there is to what he said. And knowing that he was behind on child support, it does make you kind of question what his motives are here. So we'll just have to wait and see. Mackenzie has not yet responded. So what's going on with Gary and Amber? Okay, so Amber's back and she's just a mess, and Gary is apparently the one that's doing everything for her. And recently she, on the last episode, basically said that she and Dimitri had split up. That was her boyfriend from Belgium. She claims that he's super possessive and controlling. She always goes from having the most amazing boyfriends ever, that they're the best, they're the love of her life, and then she demonizes them and calls them terrible. So Dimitri is following suit into that with being controlling, possessive, wanting to know everything about her. It was during that episode that Kristina actually referred to Amber as Gary's second wife, because Gary basically is going everywhere and doing everything for Amber, and he is visiting her every day. He brings her groceries, he gets her medicine for her, he helps her with her car, and he spends a lot of his time doing things for her that as an adult she should be capable of doing herself. So he's somehow still taking care of her even though they're not in a relationship, and I can see why Kristina might be a little bit bristled by that. I mean, can you imagine being 30 years old, You are not with this man. He is the father of your daughter who's 12, who he has primary custody of. You have never had a very stable relationship with your daughter. Your visitation has been inconsistent. And now you have him as sort of running all of your errands, doing everything for you, making sure you take your medicine, making sure you eat, making sure you do all of these things. She's still on probation. She's doing better, obviously. She's 1.5 years into probation. She's got another 1.5 years to go. But it makes you sort of wonder, like, why does he feel so compelled to do everything for Amber? It seems like Amber has a bit of a pattern when she's in relationships where she does rely heavily on the men to do everything for her. Matt Bear has claimed, and again, Matt's kind of not the most honest person, but he did claim that he did most everything for her while they were in a relationship. Andrew Glennon has said that when he was in a relationship for her, he basically took care of everything. And Amber's need and dependence on a man to do everything for her and make sure she's doing what she needs is kind of indicative of who she is. So I guess with her being single, the next best option is to use Gary and his kindness. And I can't imagine how that would make Kristina feel. If I were the wife, I would be really irritated by that. I would be like, dude, she's 30 years old. She can take care of herself. She needs to find someone else besides you. Gary probably feels a sense of obligation because it's his daughter's mom and he probably wants her to do well. But at some point, Gary, you got to cut the cord and let Amber take care of herself, or let Amber fall on her face. She's not your responsibility. You have your own family. You have your own wife who has her own needs. And that's a lot to put on your family, to think that you have to take care of Amber because she's single and because she's on probation. I'm sure he wants to help and make sure that she doesn't screw up, so that she doesn't end up back in prison, so that Leah doesn't have to go through anything. But at the same time, Gary, you've got a kid with Kristina and a wife. So, tend to the issues there first. Just my thought. What do you think of all of this? Tell me in the comments below. Bye, guys.